Test!
You gonna drink it?
Just in case, when I'm done with my orange, I want to get rid of the stickiness.
Yeah.
When I lick my fingers, I want it to match. Peach mango.
Ew.
Goes good with the orange.
Rubbing alcohol.
Yeah!
Flavor.
Who started? You are.
Me.
Me. We had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young. We were broke. We didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it.
Hey guys, welcome back.
You have something on your face.
I do?
Yeah.
That's not.
That's what my mom used to do to me.
Oh
there
my!
you go. Got
You're
it.
not supposed to touch your own face, so you're definitely not supposed to touch my face.
Don't worry, I'm sanitizing my hands.
After you did it.
Yeah, so
What about me?
I'll be clean.
Wow.
You, I don't know. But that's another subject.
Are we still rolling?
No.
Okay. Well.
Oh no!
Well. Welcome back. This is episode number 19.
Whoosh.
Quarantine is going amazing.
Yes, fired up. Your face is clean though.
My face is clean, so at least I didn't sit through a whole episode with something on my face.
True.
It's,
Always got your back.
glass is half full.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us today. I'm sure you got a lot of free time on your hands, so there's never been a better time than to binge watch Win Anyway.
That's right.
Which is what you're currently watching right now. So this is episode 19. And as always, we super appreciate all the comments, you guys following, you guys liking, sharing in your GroupMe, WeChat, WhatsApp, text message, everything.
Yes.
Instagram. We see you guys doing that, and we really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you guys.
Amen.
Yeah. And so today we've got an amazing episode, if I should say so myself, number 19. And what are we calling this?
7 things you're doing that are hurting your identity.
Yes. So one of the things that we get asked a lot is, how do I grow my identity? How do I just grow as a person? Because as we all hear, one of the most talked about things in this company is that you can't you can't out-earn who you are.
Right.
Right.
So if you suck, your cash flow is going to suck.
Exactly. So you can't, earn $1 million with a, minimum wage work ethic or, identity.
That's right.
So you need to learn how to think like somebody who makes $1 million. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And more specifically, we're going to talk about what not to do. Because for a lot of us, it's easier to,
stop doing things
than it is to start doing new things.
Right.
So we're going to talk about that.
And also, I'll tell you, I think for most people, it doesn't matter how many good habits you pile on if you're just piling them on top of bad habits.
Yeah.
If your dog...
I know what you're going to say.
If your dog goes poop on the floor and you just sweep that shit under the rug...
Spray some Febreze on it.
It doesn't matter. It's still there and it still stinks.
Yeah.
So the whole point is that sometimes, sure, we could go read books. We go, but I'm hanging out with my coach. I'm hanging out with the leaders. I'm hanging out with people winning. But you at the core, on the inside, you got a lot of bad habits, or you got a lot of just stuff that you got to get rid of, stuff that you got to stop doing before the stuff that you start doing will really make that big of a difference. And so... I think that it's better to do the topic this way instead of saying like 7 things to start doing to raise your identity.
Right.
Sometimes we got to fix the problem first.
Yeah. So let's fix it.
Go.
All right. So
what's number 1?
Number 1, and this is like one of my pet peeves, and it's one of the ways you're hurting your identity is if you're lazy and you don't have a work ethic.
Well, and we all have a work ethic, but if yours sucks.
Right. If your work ethic sucks.
Right.
That's definitely
so talk about
hurt
that.
Your identity.
What do you mean by lazy? Because a lot of people that are lazy don't know they're lazy. In fact, if you ask them, they would tell you they're just like freaking killing it and they're working hard, but they're not. They're lazy. So what does lazy look like?
So it's a lack of action. I would say it's just a plain lack of action. It's you getting a challenge, because I'm sure as all of you guys are in offices or, you're running an organization, you're giving out challenges, or, you're receiving challenges and you're just bypassing them. You're just like, oh, that's not for me. I've already tried that. I've already did that. And
Okay.
you're just not taking any action on it. And really, it just comes down to the daily activity. So you're not making phone calls. You're not prospecting. You're not running appointments. You're not booking follow-ups. You're not, following up with people. Just the daily activities.
So it's not so much that you don't have anything going on the calendar, guys. It's that you're not trying. Laziness in the business doesn't mean empty schedule. Laziness in the business means empty effort. And laziness starts in your head. I believe that laziness, when I see someone on the team that's lazy, I see someone in any sort of business world that's lazy. Dang, look at this thing. Freaking beast. When I see someone on the team that's lazy, it comes down to the fact that it starts in your head. Mentally lazy people only do the things that are convenient. Mm-hmm. So they only do the things that are easy. Like they run appointments when they're given to them, but they're not willing to go hunt for appointments. They run recruiting appointments when someone hands them to them from their team, but they're not willing to go find talent themselves. And so mentally lazy, a lot of it, a work ethic, comes down to are you willing to really genuinely do whatever it takes to start from nothing? Because that's the hardest part of entrepreneurship is starting from nothing. It's easy to inherit your grandpa's business. It's easy to inherit your dad's business. But it wasn't easy for grandpa to build the business from scratch. So I think the laziness is more mental even before it is anything else.
Right. And for example, you work full time. Okay. So you work a 9 to 5. You get off work. And so mental laziness is, oh, I can't do anything after because I'm so tired and I have to go home and, make dinner and I have to take care of my kids or whatnot. Like all these things that you tell yourself. You're like, I'm not lazy because I just worked a full, 8, 9, 10-hour day. I'm not lazy. Now I'm going to go home and take care of the kids. And I'm not lazy. You're just telling yourself, I'm not lazy. I have other priorities. No, you're being mentally lazy in the business because you can dedicate another hour. You can dedicate another 2 hours to something that's going to benefit you directly. You're just choosing not to because it's easier to not do it.
Right. And a lot of it's taking days off.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now during the quarantine, there's a lot of lazy freaking people right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're not getting up till 12 noon. They're not getting dressed till 5 p.m. Or even on a day off. Like as an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter if you work 70 hours a week at your job. You're in business. So on the weekend is not supposed to be your weekend. The weekend's supposed to be your work week if you're an entrepreneur. If I work 9 to 5 in corporate America, I spend 2 hours a day in traffic in California, and then I get off, and then on the weekend my kids got soccer games and stuff. But the whole purpose of your business is to not have to go to your job forever. So you have to be willing to work those weekends. See, here's the thing though. This topic's on how it hurts your identity. It hurts your identity because part of success and part of winning, the first step to winning is you have to believe you deserve to win. That's the first step. You're not going to make $1 million or $75,000 a year if you don't believe you deserve it. So the first step to it is believing like, you know what? I deserve to have the choice to leave my job if I choose to.
Yeah.
And you can't get that if you're lazy. So it hurts your identity because deep down inside, you don't believe you deserve shit. Therefore, you don't get anything.
Right. And you saying an affirmation, I deserve to win. I deserve to win. I deserve to win. Your brain knows that you don't deserve to win because your brain knows that you haven't put in the work. You can't trick yourself in that way.
Right.
You can say that affirmation, but you have to have the action to back it up.
The belief has to be deep
I work
down
harder
inside.
than anybody I know. If you're saying that and you're not actually working harder than anybody you know, it's empty words and your brain and your mind knows it.
So it hurts your identity because it's not incongruent.
Mm-hmm.
The most powerful thing, I think, that's not tangible, that you can't see and touch, is for your actions to be congruent with your values and what you really believe.
Yeah, your word to yourself is everything.
It kills your identity. It kills it if you're going to the office every day, you're fired up, you're trying to run appointments and sell the dream, but you're not working. So there's that little tiny edge that's missing that doesn't connect. between you and the person you're sitting down with. And it's the magic dust sprinkled on top that turns every appointment into a close. So you get to the end and you never close. And the thing that's missing is the congruency. It's the fact that it's genuine, it's authentic, and you mean it. And it's that little tiny sprinkle that, honest to God, would take you from $2 to $3 grand a month to over 6 figures. But that little thing missing is the fact that your identity is not there because you don't mean it genuinely. When you go, you can make 30, 40, 50 grand a month. But you're not making it, and you don't have to make it to say it and mean it. But if you're lazy, you're mentally lazy, you're taking days off all the time, you don't feel like working, therefore you don't work. You can't grind just on the days you wake up feeling good.
No.
I mean, you can, but you're not going to get big. And so for us, for me and my identity, I've always been lazy everywhere but the gym, sports, and business. But for me, I don't have a work ethic problem. I will get up every day and grind whether someone tells me to or not. So when I'm sitting with someone, what I'm saying and what I'm doing, they line up perfectly. But you can't tell someone, go do this, this, and this. And then in the middle of the day, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're laying in your bed. Like, beds are made to sleep in, not live in.
Right, yeah.
So if you're spending the whole day on the couch, I never sit on the couch back there. Honest to God, we're on the couch watching TV from 12 midnight till 12 midnight to 3 a.m. That's the only time we're on the couch. But what happens is what we do every day versus what we believe and what we preach and what we teach, they all line up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's your work ethic. You have to really change that. We can tell you everything about.
How do you change that though? If you're late, because here's the deal: as an adult, if you're lazy at 25, man, that's 15 years of your life that laziness has been ingrained into your identity. Yeah. How do you change that overnight?
Dude, are you sick of where you're at? If you're sick of where you're at, then you have to start changing the things that you're doing. And in the beginning, you just have to put yourself on a schedule. That's why things like 75 Hard, if you don't know what that is, Andy Frisella, check it out, 75 Hard. That's why things like that are so powerful because they completely shock your system and make you start a new schedule. So for people who, get up in the morning and they follow a schedule, it's not that was easy for them right off the bat. It's that they did it while it was hard. And then eventually it just becomes second nature. Even though we're going to sleep like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still waking up at the same time because I can't help it. And so it's just part of who I am now. It's part of my identity. And it went through, having to force myself to get up, in the beginning to now not really struggling with it at all. So it's just something you have to intentionally be aware of and do for a prolonged period of time until it becomes natural.
Now, did you always have that?
Waking up early?
No,
or
the identity of someone who makes 50, 60 grand a month.
No way. No, my identity has completely gone, a whole 180 change because it's just, I had a very, employee mentality. Let me just do, the minimum to get by, you want to make the most out of your money. So you're going to do the least amount of work while you're at work, So no, I didn't have that identity. It was something that I consciously have worked on because I knew if I wanted to get to the next level and I knew if I wanted to become a leader and for people to see me in that light, that I was going to have to work so hard on myself and they were going to have to be able to see that in me. So it's something you have to be 100% conscious of and then just take the steps to change it.
The reason why I asked you that question is because you guys, Ronnie grew up poor on welfare.
On welfare, yeah.
Literally on food stamps. And so I asked you that question because people look and they go, well, of course your identity is there because you guys make XYZ amount of money. But what I want you guys to understand is that we didn't start there. We're a product of the business world. We're a product of WFG. We're a product of our mentors. And we're a product of doing these things. And you grow your work ethic and you grow your identity and you grow your confidence intentionally, not by accident.
Yeah, it's 100% intentional. Like you said, it has to be intentional.
You have to start and you go, okay, you know what? I need to change this. See, people only change as an adult. It's so hard for adults to change. It's so hard for adults to change because it was so many years of doing whatever we do. So adults only change for 2 reasons. At least my belief is for two reasons. So number one is trauma, some sort of traumatic experience or some sort of environment that brings about trauma. Like on The Biggest Loser, you go lose 150 pounds in 90 days or whatever, right? 4 months, however long they do it, I don't know. But you could have done that at home. But they don't do it at home. But they do it on the show because you're in this environment that like forces it. It's a traumatic experience. Trauma changes a person. It literally shifts their brain. And so you're in this environment where you're on the treadmill and some dude's behind you yelling at you, let's go, let's go, let's go. And you're on camera. And it's a scary thing. A boot camp in the military. You know, it's a scary thing. So some sort of environment like that, or where an adult just hits rock bottom, or they have some defining moment where they go, you know what, I got to get my crap together. Mm-hmm. This isn't going to work. Like the guy walks into the doctor who hasn't been able to lose weight his whole life, and the doctor says, you're never going to see your grandkids if you don't drop 50 pounds. And he goes, what the heck? And it's a defining moment, and he chooses to change. So as an adult, like my point is if you're struggling, if you have a bad work ethic, you have to decide now, I'm going to shift that. And it's a conscious thing, and it's breaking patterns that you have that don't serve you in the business. It's breaking patterns in life that don't benefit you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, it's a conscious choice, which brings us to our next point as far as like things, you know, that you're doing right now that are hurting your identity. It's avoiding rejection.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to self-preserve, right? The fear of rejection, the fear of people not liking you. You know, a lot of us grow up as people pleasers, right? You know, we want people to like us. We want that sense of community. We want people's approval. And so we avoid rejection at all costs. And so a lot of us in the beginning of business, or even, you know, for you right now, if you feel like your identity is not growing, it's because you're doing everything you possibly can to avoid that rejection and avoid that uncomfortable feeling of not being in your element and not being comfortable. And so when he's talking about like The Biggest Loser and going on that TV show, that was people putting themselves in a position to get rejected by millions of viewers, you know, people not liking them not succeeding on, you know, camera. They're putting themselves in a position where they could possibly fail, but because they have that added pressure, they push themselves more. And maybe they didn't win, but they grew a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or shrunk, if you want. They shrunk a lot. But you get what I mean. And we do this in business. So a lot of times we avoid calling people. We avoid asking them for help. We avoid talking to prospects, people out and about. We avoid public speaking, right? We self-sabotage because we're afraid that we're going to fail. We're afraid that we're going to get rejected because we're just so ingrained to want people's approval.
Keeps you broke.
Yeah.
It really does, because all of your blessings in the business are going to come from people that aren't currently in the business with you. In a lot of cases, you know, you're not going to get clients without being in a position where you're okay with someone telling you no. And so when you look at the fact that why people don't do anything in the business, in any business, is that it's always, well, what's the other person going to think? Mm-hmm. What's the other person going to think? But if you look at the most successful people in the world financially and from a business standpoint, some of them, I mean, they're known for not caring. Like if you look like a Floyd Mayweather, like that dude doesn't care what anyone thinks. Conor McGregor doesn't care what anybody thinks. You know, some of the biggest people in the world that just dominate in their industries are known for being jerks or just for being assholes or for being, you know, like whatever. When the reality is they just don't care about what you think. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's just they have something that you don't have, which is confidence.
Yeah.
And self-esteem, where they don't need everyone else to accept them. And because of that, they dominate in their industry.
Yeah. They're taking 100% control over their lives. And so they know if I'm going to fail, it's going to be at my own hand. It's not going to be because you didn't like what I was doing.
Because when you avoid rejection, the reason it hurts your identity is because you're allowing your identity to be decided by other people. And so when you're avoiding rejection, it's because you don't want someone else to make you feel like you're incapable or less than and not enough. Here's the deal, though. That right there means that your whole way you see you is controlled by other people, and you have no control. So you're in reaction always versus being proactive and being the one making the decisions. And so I think the second you could stop caring, you reach a very dangerous level of freedom in life once you no longer need anybody else's approval.
Yeah, and the way that you do this is you have to go out and be prepared to face rejection. And the more you face rejection and the more you train yourself to be okay with it. For example, you're going prospecting. Somebody tells you, no, that doesn't sound like something I'm interested, blah, 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 whatever they end up saying, right? They end up telling you no for whatever reason. Instead of going, oh my God, they said no to me, you need to reframe that and say, oh no, they're just not the right person, or it's not the right time. You attach whatever meaning to the situation. You do. They don't, you do. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves, or it's not the right time, or whatever it is, but it's not a reflection of you and your identity. And the second you learn to detach those two things, then you can stop being afraid of rejection.
Right. It doesn't have to be so if I go prospecting and someone says no, I just go, all right, next. Literally, that's as much thought as I give to it. And the reason is because I'm confident. I want you guys to get this. This is important. I'm confident in what I do. I believe in what I do. I believe in the mission behind it. I believe in the purpose. I believe in the vision of where we're going. And then I believe in me. Therefore, I don't need validation from somebody else. So when someone else says, nah, I go, all right, next. Versus, oh my God, why? Why'd they say no? And you're still in this fight with yourself and the fact that you don't 1,000% believe in what you're doing. But if you did, you wouldn't need validation. You wouldn't need someone to go, oh yeah, that sounds great. Mm-hmm. And then you go, really? Yeah, right? Because you're not all in yet. And it hurts your identity because you're letting everyone else control the way you look at yourself. Yeah. And so it's not a rejection, it's just a filter. Not everyone in the world is going to do the same shit. Otherwise, what would be the point? Someone has to do something different. Other people have to do other things. But once you're all in on you, you don't need validation.
Yeah. So stop avoiding it. Face it head on, and you attach whatever meaning it is. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. And before you know it, you're not going to care what anybody says.
If you get 300 no's, you're going to get 30 or 40 yeses.
Yeah.
You can't win without someone saying no. It's not rejection. It's just yes or no.
Right. Exactly.
Just like yes is not approval. It's just yes.
Yeah. So stop framing it that way.
Another one I think is another thing I think that hurts people's identity is making excuses.
Oh yeah.
Like right now for the last 10 minutes, everyone's been making excuses about why they, can't handle rejection.
Right.
But making excuses, I think totally just crushes your identity. Now, why do you think that is?
Because it doesn't serve you. If you're like,
What if it's true though?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't serve you. If it's true, does it still serve you?
But if it's true, is it an excuse? Or is it a reason?
It's still an excuse.
Because people go, well, it's not an excuse. It's just the reason. It's just the facts.
It's still an excuse because there's somebody out there who had the same upbringing, who went through the same things that you're going through or went through or whatever, and they're winning. So it's just an excuse.
So even if it's true, it's still an excuse.
Yeah, even if it's true, it's still an excuse. We have people on the team who are literally going through hell right now in their personal lives, and they're still finding a way to win. So it's just an excuse, and you telling yourself, well, it's because of this or it's because of that, or, it's just hurting your identity because instead of pushing past it and becoming mentally tough and gaining all these amazing things that you can gain from pushing through the hard times and coming out on top, you're just shortchanging yourself and you're keeping yourself stuck.
It weakens your character. You know, whether it's true or false, it still weakens your character. And you're surrendering to whatever your circumstances are.
Right.
And it's not that you're not going to go through stuff. It's just the fact that it hurts your identity.
Yeah.
Being lazy hurts your identity, whether you have a reason to be lazy or not. Avoiding rejection, basically takes you out of any scenario to grow. And whether the rejection was true or not, it still hurts your identity. Making excuses, no matter how bad your situation, it's you surrendering. Like, well, I would have done it, and it hurts your identity. The way you see you, you'll know. Well, you know what? Oh man, yeah. There's been a lot of times when I just kind of fell short because of Kobe is famous because Kobe didn't do any of these things we're talking about.
Right.
That's really why he is what he is.
So I'll give you an example, right? So my dog, the big fluffy, like giant looking thing, right? So when he was a puppy, he was trying to get past the puppy gate, like the dog gate, like a baby gate, right? So he was trying to get past it and it fell on him. So it's this little gate and it fell on him. And ever since then, he's been terrified of this gate. Now he's like 6 times the size of this gate now. But to him, he attached this, he attached this gate as like, it's just this big thing to him in his head, right? Versus if he had just pushed past this stupid gate, now he wouldn't be afraid of anything. But now he's afraid of any gate, any size, anything. It's just, you shape how you handle things. So if I can get past, like right now, right? You're not allowed to leave your house or whatever. If you could either take it 2 ways. Oh, I can't run appointments. So the next time something happens in your life where it prevents you from running appointments, you're going to be like, yeah, like last time I couldn't run appointments. I can't run appointments. Versus, oh, I can run appointments even if the world is falling apart.
Yeah. Don't make excuses. Because you can't win making excuses. You can't cash excuses.
No.
Only checks.
Right.
So that's good stuff. Let's keep going. Those are the first 3 so far, you guys. We said there'll be 7. Laziness, avoiding rejection, making excuses. These last 4 are strong. And here's the thing: when you listen to these podcasts, it doesn't work if you don't apply it. So like this episode, I think would change your whole life if you apply these things. But these last 4 are big. They're very big. So the next one's weakens your character. What is it, Ron? It's
keeping your personal life and your business life separate. So we see this a lot. People want to have a separate phone for their business and their personal. They want to have a separate Instagram, just for business and just for personal. And
I got to have somewhere to post my booby pictures.
That was my question to you. Why do you need separate accounts? What are you doing in your personal life that is going to taint your business life?
Booby pictures.
Okay. So maybe...
So you're saying I just post my booby pictures next to my...
No, that's not what I mean.
177 Mental Toughness Secret to the World class book.
If you want people to see yourself as
boobies.
A professional in business...
Got it.
A professional in business, then you need to become a professional in business as part of your identity and not pretend to be...
What about my abs?
What about your abs?
Can I put those next to my...
What do you want people to know you as?
And the point is that it doesn't matter what you're posting, but people all the time, they ask Ronnie and I all the time. Here's another example. Not pictures, it's irrelevant. But it's, hey, well, I feel like, how do you separate business from your personal life? How do you, what do you guys do when you're not doing business? Or what do you talk about when you're not doing business? Or... and it's usually a couple that are trying to do the 2 things separately. Or someone says, you know what, I'm not your life coach, I'm your business coach. But the reality is it's the same thing. Like, if the business is your life, then you are a life coach. You're not a business coach. So you can't really separate the 2. Why does it hurt the identity, though?
Because it's not congruent.
Right.
So you're at the office, you're dressed in business clothes, you're, talking the talk, walking the walk, and then the second you walk out the door, you change. So your brain knows that that's not who you are 24/7, and you're just playing a role. Right. You're an actor in your own life. So for 6 hours, you're an actor.
So you're not really a business person, you're just playing business when you're at the business. Yeah, you're faking it. So you go to the BPM, you go to your meeting, you go to work, you go to your office, whatever industry you're in, and you leave, and the second you leave, you go home, put on your jammies, and you walk around. Or you go home and change before you go to the mall. You go home and change before you go to the grocery store. And the reality is you left your business back at the office. Mm-hmm. And it hurts your identity because, again, it goes back to, do I deserve to win?
Yeah.
Now, do you think you can win if business is that's what you do, but it's not who you are?
No, if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. And most hobbies don't pay you.
That's good.
So if you keep doing that, you're just going to keep reaping the same results that you've been
So
reaping.
how do you become business then? How do you become, because guys, this is something a lot of us are struggling with, is that we're not, the reason your friends and family don't take you seriously is because they don't see you as a businessman or a businesswoman. They just see you as someone playing business. Mm-hmm. That's just the role, like Ronnie said, that you're playing, but it's not you. How do you shift that? How do you shift your identity to where, you know what, I'm not just effing around with this thing. This is me. This is who I really am.
Well, something you told me, I don't even know if you remember this, in the beginning of business is to ask myself this question. Is this helping or is this hurting my business? With everything you're doing in life, with every post you're going to make,
right,
with every interaction, if you're at a party, and you can go to family parties and not act like an idiot, right? You know, with every action you're going to take, is this helping my business or is this hurting my business? And if your family and friends aren't taking you seriously because they're like, oh, you know, that's so-and-so, they're just, you know, trying out something new, they'll be done with that in a couple of weeks, you need to shock them. So if you're normally at a family party doing shots, what if you showed up to a family party in a suit or business clothes and you were drinking water and just having a conversation and you were talking like a professional?
Yep.
Would that shock them? Maybe they would go, oh, wow, she seems different.
Yep.
What's going on with her? She seems different. He seems different. He seems serious. I think he's really serious about this business thing that he's doing.
Yeah. And, you know, for me, I think that you bring up a really good example. What do you go to your family parties in? See, for me, I go everywhere in a suit.
Yeah.
Because that's just me. When I go somewhere, someone goes, oh, you're working today? I go, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, because you're in a suit. I'm like, this is what I always wear. Mm-hmm. Or we go out to dinner. Ronnie and I go Blaze Pizza or something, right? And they're like, oh, you guys are so dressed up. I'm like, no, man, I actually left the tie at home. We're dressed down. Because that's just who we are. And so it takes time. See, it also comes back to your intentions. I go to the family party for business. I don't go to the family party for family. Screw family. I go to the family party for business. This is an opportunity for me to brand myself. Here's another thing. I don't give a shit if anyone at the family party is my client. But what I would rather them see me as a business person versus them become my client. Because to me, the way they see me is everything. So I want them to see me show up in a freaking suit. I want to park my G-Wagon at the front entrance of the family party.
Yeah.
Whether you become my client or not, because my identity is everything. It's worth more to me than anything else. It's the way that people look at you. And I think the identity is, number one, it's the way people look at you. And then deeper than that, it's the way you look at yourself. But you become that person. Start going to, like, we got a guy on the team, like Joey. Joey said, tell me, I'm going to the family party, go put on a suit. I remember the time he's like, yeah, I didn't go to someone told me I didn't go to the meeting because I didn't have time to go back home after and change to go to lunch. I'm like, what the freaking hell? What do you got to go home and change for?
Yeah.
You can't go, what kind of place you go into lunch that you can't show up in a suit? So what you're telling me is the suit's your uniform. It's not you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's shifting that. It's changing that. You know, and that's why you can't really separate. Or you could. But I think the biggest entrepreneurs, the ones that win, they are the same person everywhere they go.
Yep.
They're a business person.
And people don't question that.
Yep. I love it. That's what you're known as. It's your brand more than anything. Is what's your brand? Is your brand business or is your brand that you play business?
Yep. And
are you a business?
Tell.
Like Jay-Z. Jay-Z's the one who says it, right? He says, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Like that's who he is. That's his brand. And he said that he's not a musician. Music is just his platform. He's a businessman.
Yep. That's what it comes down to.
Fire it up. So that's number 4.
Yes.
Number 5.
Number 5 is, if I could just say it, it's personal integrity. It's you keeping the promises that you make to yourself. People always ask, how do I build confidence? How do I, believe in myself more? Very simply said, when you say you're going to do something, you better make sure that you freaking do it.
Yeah, why is confidence so weak to begin with? It's weak because of all the times you didn't do what you said.
Yeah, because you don't believe yourself. You might say, "Oh no, I have really high integrity when I tell somebody, I'm going to be there, like I'm there." That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you set a goal for yourself, do you hit it?
There's integrity, which is the way other people see you, and self-integrity is what you're talking about.
Yeah, are you lying to yourself? When you say, "Oh yeah, this month I'm going to make $5,000 and make $10,000," do you really believe that? And do you mean it? Are you going to do it? Because if you keep saying that and you don't do it, and your brain knows like you made no effort to hit that goal, you're just completely trashing your personal identity, your personal integrity. You keep breaking these promises that you're making to yourself, and that just does no good for you.
And if you say I'm going to make $5,000 this month, and then you make freaking $300, like, dude, it crushes you. But you probably did that because last time you said you were going to make $3,000 and you didn't make shit.
Exactly. So you didn't believe yourself.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
You said it and you forgot about it.
Now, what if you said it and you hit it? Then the next time you set a goal, you have a belief now. You know what? I could do it. I can actually do it. And a lot of the identity problem here comes down to your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that self-esteem, the value you see for yourself. The way you repair and build your self-esteem is by setting promises to yourself and then hitting them. That's the process of building up your confidence and building up your self-esteem. The opposite of that is setting promises and missing and missing and missing and missing and missing.
Right.
And like, you don't even believe in you anymore. See, I believe in me because I know I could get the job done.
Yeah.
I know I could count on me. And that's really what this is. And the hurting identity, when people go, how do you grow your identity? That's why we're talking about this. Is a lot of you goes, well, how do you grow that? How do you grow that? How do you grow that? This crap right here is how you grow that. Mm-hmm. Go tell yourself I'm going to make $1,000 and then go make $1,000 this month or make 5. And you start to grow like, remember, it always comes back to what? I deserve. You only get in life what you're willing to go fight for. And deep down inside, you believe you really deserve. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of people struggle to make money in an industry that's the highest paid industry in the country. Yeah. And people struggle to get their $50,000 watch or make $100,000 a year. And it's because they come from a background of no money. They come from a background where there's not a pattern of success, and they haven't seen an image and a role model of success in their family in a lot of cases. And then you come to the business where you should be killing it. Absolutely. You should be making so much money that you don't even know what to do with it. And we can't freaking get people to make $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month, enough to leave their job and come full time. And they can't do it because of the fact that they've never seen success. Therefore, they don't hit goals. No one in their family's made it before. And now they struggle because there's this pattern of missing and missing and missing and missing and missing. And so you can't win like that.
And how you break that, by the way, because I know a lot of you are like, okay, well, I'm stuck in this cycle, right?
Right.
And how you break that, and he mentioned it, was you start small. Yeah. And a lot of you guys get mad at us for this. Like, if you're on our team, sometimes you get mad at us because we're like, oh, yeah, our goal for you this month is I want you to make $1,000. And you're so offended. You're so offended. $1,000, that's all you think I can make? No. No, that's not all I think you can make.
But you don't think you can make it.
You don't think you can make it. And the reason I know that you don't believe that you can make more than that is because you haven't been.
Right.
So stop getting mad at us. We're trying to help you build that self-confidence by setting a goal that we know you can hit if you focused on it. All right?
Keeping promises to yourself.
Yeah.
And then it runs to our next point, which is number 6, which is that you run from challenges and you run from competition. And that hurts your freaking identity.
Yeah. Because whenever you're running from competition, it's just because you're again afraid to fail and you don't believe that you can win. If you don't think you have a shot,
you're not going to try.
You're not going to try at all. So
you can't run from it, you guys.
No.
The most successful people in the world chase competition?
Because it makes you better.
Yeah, it makes you better. It brings out something in you that you may not have brought out if you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's the edge. It's the edge. If you watch someone who plays, like in sports, they say, oh, she's playing like she's got a chip on her shoulder. Which basically means is I got something to prove. You know, someone pissed me off. Someone said I wasn't going to make it. Someone didn't believe in me, and now I got something to prove. My favorite quote, I think of all time, is a Maya Angelou quote that says, if you want me to do something, tell me I can't do it. And that's the edge of competition. And so people that aren't naturally competitive because maybe you've never played sports before, or you're just scared to compete because you're scared to lose. Here's the deal. It hurts your identity when someone challenges you and you're not stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
Because subconsciously, you're in the challenge anyways. You're just losing by default. And so if you can't keep promises to yourself and then you run from challenges, or you always accept the challenge, oh yeah, I'm going to get it done this month. And 48 months later, you still haven't got it done. It crushes your identity, right? Because you have a record of all the losses in your head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's why you got to figure out how to win.
Yeah, you got to get competitive and you got to put your all into it. And at the end of the day, if you put your all into it and you still end up losing this competition, you should be miles ahead.
Right.
From where you started.
Because
but it's only when you don't try and you throw in the towel the second the challenge is called that it hurts your identity. Yeah,
and then you make an excuse, right? We go back to number 4. I think it's number 4. You make an excuse, or number 3. And you go, well, you know, I'm not in competition with everyone else. I'm just in competition with myself. Like, by the way, when you read that bullshit quote on Instagram, unfollow the page that posts that. Because it's the stupidest shit ever. That's written by a loser, I guarantee you. A freaking loser wrote that quote. I don't compete with others. I compete with me. But dude, like, you have not put anything up to compete with.
Right.
Like, you are the only one competing with you.
And you're losing.
Because everyone else is competing with someone who's winning. And then here you are over here with your cute Pinterest quote about how you're the only people you have to compete with is yourself. Like, you could say that if you're making $1 million a year. You can't say that if you're not making $1 million a year. Mm-hmm. You're not competing with you. You need to compete with everyone else who's winning. And so don't run from competition.
Exactly.
Okay, last one. Hurting identity. But before we get there, I want to just refresh you on the notes here. Number 1 was laziness. Mm-hmm. What if you changed that today?
It's a game changer.
What if you went out today and you said, you know what, I'm no longer lazy. I'm going to start kicking some ass. Mm-hmm. Number 2 was avoiding rejection. What if you went and got 1,000 times that someone told you no?
You wouldn't care.
How many yeses would you get? You can't get 1,000 no's without getting 100 or 200 or 300 yeses. You'd be having a freaking record month. You'd take what you did a whole year and put it into 1 month. What if you went out and stopped making excuses from today on? If you lost, you lost. And you know what? Hey, can't win them all. Mm-hmm. That was a loss. It's all good. And every time you lost, you learned something. But you stopped making excuses. You just started owning your crap. What if you started becoming a business person instead of just someone who's in business? What if you started building a company instead of being a team? What if you started becoming that person? What if you started keeping promises to yourself and accepting challenges and then actually putting up your best effort to compete? Mm-hmm. You know, that would shift everything. I mean, can you imagine if our team did all that?
Unstoppable.
Be game over, man. Mm-hmm. It'd be freaking game over. That's what the winners do.
Yeah.
This is what the winners do. And the last one, this one's going to be a punch in the face for some people. One of the biggest things that hurts your identity, like subconsciously, it's not something you see, but internally, it just totally jacks up your chances of winning. What is it?
Talking, gossiping.
Talking shit, gossiping.
Yes.
And hating on other people.
Yeah.
Especially hating on the people that are winning. Now, why does that weaken your identity?
Honestly, I think it's because if you are somebody who finds yourself doing this a lot, it's because you are subconsciously trying to boost yourself by talking negatively about other people.
Okay. Why do people do that, though? Because it comes back to the fact that you don't feel good about you. Mm-hmm. Now, let's just be real. Everyone talks shit at some point. Okay, Ronnie and I have done it too at some point. Nobody's perfect. But we're talking about if this is just part of who you are. And it's not talking shit like, dude, I'm going to whoop your ass this month.
No,
that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about there's 3 people in a room. One walks out. By default, naturally, what do the other 2 do? They usually say something about the dude who just left. Right? Like if you ever want to experiment with this, one of the funnest things you could ever do is when you leave a room, stand around the corner. And then see what happens. Oh, God, that freaking Jay Justin. I'm glad he left. Guy drives me crazy. You know, like this is the kind of crap that people do. This high school stuff, but this is the stuff that people do. And winners talk about winning and losers talk about people.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's people in our company that make $1 million a year and they still do this crap because I've seen it. No one's perfect. So this isn't a judging conversation. My point to you is, at an individual level, if you want to get big, this is a habit you'll want to stop. At least to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you small.
And it's not, totally goes back to one of our other podcasts, but it's totally not productive for a winning environment. Man, so if you as a leader and you're building, an organization, you're building a team, and you have that culture where you just talk crap about other people, then it just passes on to your team. And you just, before you know it, you just have an office full of drama. And
what it really is, because we have a very competitive team that talks crap about other teams all the time, but on a competitive basis, not on a personal level. Correct. The second it becomes personal, the second competition becomes personal, like, well, yeah, that's great. Your mom's fat. It's like, what the heck did my mom have to do with this?
Right, yeah.
And you're fat too, by the way. Like, what the heck? See, now it became personal. And the second it becomes personal is the second it's done.
Right.
Because that's the second that respect left the conversation. And it became something personal. And here's the problem with that, is that gossip, when people are gossiping, it's always personal. They don't gossip about business.
No. And they're not saying anything
always personal. Yeah, the person who comes to you and goes, hey, man, did you hear what so-and-so did? It's like, what the fuck? Why? First of all, then they come to me and I say, I don't care what they said about me. I want to know why they said it to you. Like, why did they feel okay telling you? Because that tells me that they feel okay telling you because they've probably done that before. So that's number one. And then number two, gossip, even though the conversation ends with these 2 people, the rumor doesn't stop.
No.
The rumor keeps going. And so it's a very bad habit because you only get so much energy every day. And if you're one of those people that you just thrive on tension and you thrive on significance, it comes back to your self-esteem. Is it you being involved in bullshit makes you feel important?
Right. And you need to stop getting your fix from that. And you need to start getting your fix as far as you getting attention from you doing good things.
Becoming relevant.
Yes. Yeah. People shouldn't know you as a person who knows what everyone's doing in the office.
Yeah, don't be the person talking. Be the person they're talking about. Like, I don't get mad when people talk about me.
Yeah.
If you've known me, then there's something worth talking about. So I get fired up about it. I'd rather be the topic of the bullshit versus be the bullshitter. Because when you're in the middle of that, it's a very losing, like it only happens like amongst people that are not world class. The best people don't do that. They don't. It doesn't mean they don't compete. It doesn't mean they don't talk crap, but they don't gossip. It doesn't become personal. They don't hate on people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man, he made $100,000. Oh yeah, it's because he had one rollover. Like, well, so what? You would have been okay with the rollover.
You would not turn it away.
Right. Why are you talking smack? Wait till next month. Like, dude, why are you
it's just
hating?
Because they're in a good market.
Yeah, dude, hating. Hating. That's all hate. That's all BS. The best people find a way to win anyway.
Yeah. That's it. I don't think we have anything more to say about that.
Be the person known for lifting people up.
Yeah. And you know how you change that in your group if you feel like that's been the culture of the people who you're surrounded with? This is what I love to do all the time. I freaking love it. Someone comes to me and is like, hey, did you hear about so-and-so? They do this and this and this. I go, actually, I really like Jay Justin. He makes me laugh. I think he's funny. He brings good energy to the group. They're like,
you want to know? You want to know what you're not bringing?
Yeah.
You want to know why I like Jay Justin? Because he doesn't do this shit.
Yeah, he makes me laugh. This isn't making me laugh, so.
Yeah, just tell him. Be like, why you so mad? Like, why are you hating on him for? You know that right there, man.
No, I'm not hating on. He just asks weird things sometimes.
Even better is when they walk in, they go, hey, you know what I heard about Jay Justin? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Hey, Jay Justin, I got Ronnie right here. She was going to tell me something. Go ahead. Tell me what you're going to say.
Yeah. It was about you.
No, I was going to say, I really liked your hair this morning. You look good. Oh, really? Okay, great. That's how you cut that crap out.
Yep.
If people are gossiping to you or around you, it tells you something about you that you got to fix.
It's not okay.
And those 7 things right there, destroy your identity.
Yes. So,
hey, you guys.
Apply them.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys hopping on Instagram Live when we do it, which is fun. Yeah. We appreciate all your comments, all your reviews. Give us some reviews on Apple Podcasts if you haven't done it already. Mm-hmm. If you're just listening, share this stuff with your team. Drop a review on there. It helps us a lot. But anyways, keep on winning.
Yep. Keep winning.
All right,
Win
y'all.
anyways.
Win anyway. We're out. Peace.